Hey folks, welcome back once again to ToL Q3 North America. My name is Blue, joined today by Cyrif, and we're headed now into our second on-stream quarterfinal game, which is going to end up being between two teams which we have not seen play before at all. Team Carry Squad and All Your Base Are Belong to Us.
Absolutely, I'm really excited to see what team will come out victorious in this. All Your Base and Carry Squad. I've never seen most of these people. I actually don't know pretty much anyone on either of these teams. But this is great because we'll be able to see sort of what else is out there. And we know Outplayed, we know Apex, we know even Sharks with Lasers. But these guys could surprise us.
Indeed, like I said, never seen them play before, so heading directly into the first game, however, we are going to be seeing Carry Squad play on the red side over here for all three of our maps, and All Your Base will be playing on the blue team. Checking out the compositions on both sides very quick, nothing too out of the ordinary here. Red team does have a fairly bulky comp, though, as we start taking a look at things here. Shadow Shooter, the captain for this team, is going to be playing somewhat of an odd Spirit Ranger build, running with 00644, and again, that trait split is immediately what makes it look odd, but it gets a little bit odder when you see that he's actually running with Sikkim as his third utility there too, so he's going to be lacking quite a bit of self-survivability that will hurt him a little bit if they end up focusing him down, but he will get a little bit of extra spike damage through his pets due to his trait choice. Other than that though, Runes of Hullbrecht, pretty normal choices, and then the weapons are a little odd too, running with Sword Dagger and Axe with an offhand torch, so we'll see how that plays off when we see him go into 1v1s and mid-fights as well. Sly the Sly will be playing, I believe, Eviscerate Warrior at the moment with Soldier's Amulet, Runes of Strength. This is a fairly typical build as well, making use obviously of the Sigil of Intelligence here on the Axe sword set in order to get the burst necessary to validate this build, but other than that, it's going to be a fairly normal build. He's going to be a very formidable opponent in 1v1s and can provide some very surprising spike in team fights too, so keep your eyes out for that. VXII will be playing Thief for this team. I believe he'll be playing the usual SD20066 build. We talked about this one in the past too. Like I said, not as much damage as other Thief builds, but it does have a lot more poke and pull and is very, very annoying to try and kill. So look for that again, and look for a lot of decaps to come from this guy too. Polonium will be playing Necromancer for this team. Fairly typical Necro build, very team fight focused obviously, and going a little bit more defensively as he hasn't gone for Doomfire, going up the Curses tree instead, and this will leave him some more trait points in order to go into Death Magic to get things like Reaper's Protection, and comboing that with Runes of Nightmare, he'll have a lot of uncounterable fears that will be very annoying when people try to knock him out of play, but once more we'll obviously have that very large Condi spike that he can bring into team fights and cause some havoc with too, so he'll probably be the focus for the blue team to take out in those team fights. And then last but not least, we see the quintessential Hambo coming into play over here, played by Puma's little sister, running with Soldier's Amulet and the defensive strength Runes of the Hullbrecht with Longbow and Hammer obviously. Sigils of Fire and Int on the Hammer. Again, Fire's a little bit of an interesting choice there, but nonetheless still should work out fairly well. And then Doom as well as Hydromancy on the Longbow, and fairly typical Hambo traits other than that. Lots of AoE CC as well as just the pure carnage that will come into play there, and a lot more of the fire AoE that comes in from Combustive Shot too. Keep your eyes out for him. Once again, very quickly going over the blue team, we have, I'm not going to say that name, Duck over here, played first off.
Dusk.
Is it Dusk?
It's Dusk.
Oh, okay. It still looks weird. Dusk over here, playing Shatter Mesmer, I believe. 44006, so again, we saw this played in the last game as well. Lots of high spike, very similar to a Thief, but is very dependent on positioning, and he can get locked down very easily. Iron in blue, playing the same, actually no, he's playing SD, but he's going to be playing a little bit more damage focus as he's gone into critical strikes instead of acrobatics, so he'll be dealing more damage, but won't have as much self-survivability. Running full-on Scholar Runes too, so his openers are going to have quite a bit of a punch to them. Keep an eye out for that. Cute and Fabulous will be playing the Bunker Guardian for this team, and keep that in mind too, that Carry Squad does not actually have a bunker, but they're actually making up for that and just in general tankiness that they're going to have all throughout their team. But once more here, he's going to be running AH build, so focusing a little bit more on self-survivability. Demonoid playing Hambo as well, pretty much the same thing as Puma's little sister, and then Large Norn Ellie is going to play DD Selly, so he'll be very prominent on side node fights as well as keeping himself up and rolling as well. But once again, that's about it for the builds, guys, so I think we're pretty much ready to get started here with game one.
Looks like it. We're gonna tell these guys to ready up, and Large Norn Ellie. 2 out of those 3 things are a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was running Thief. Large Norn Ellie, a Surin Thief.
We have seen things like that before. I've run into teams that had all their names as different classes than they actually were, and it was very confusing.
Well, also, I mean, we've done that with Old Run.
Yeah.
I think it was, or no, we've seen Oran's team do like a mac and cheese type squad. And it was like Legend VV mac and cheese or something like that. Mac and cheese mode, I think it was.
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
No, I remember that.
All right. Well,
I do. I remember.
clearly, it's more fun memory to me than it is to you. But
I don't think. Well, we didn't do that with them, did it? It was they played it in a tournament, but we didn't do that with them.
No, I'm saying we casted.
Oh yeah, of course, I remember that. I didn't remember being on the team though. Is that what you were saying?
No, but we were on the stream.
Yes.
Oh god, I need to eat something or get some medicine, guys. But let's go ahead and tell these guys to ready it up. We are currently waiting
for Shadow Shooter. He disconnected, but he's now back in play. So as soon as these guys are ready, we shall begin. Who's going to come out on top? The bulky but DPS comp over here from the... That was a very horrible choice of words. The very bulky but damage-focused comp over here on Carry Squad with no Guardian at all, or the more normal comp over here on All Your Base are belong to us. Gates will be opening up in about 10 seconds, guys. Once again, this is a best-of-3 set on the standard map rotation. First team to 2 points will be moving on to the qualifier rounds. But anyway, the gates are opening, so let's get started.
Alright, so as we check out these splits, we're not going to see any sort of stacking up of boons on the blue side for the most part. Large and Ellie going to go ahead and cap up. Home for them. We're going to see on the red side, though, it's Shadow Shooter who grabs that. We're seeing one Warrior and Vixie hang towards mid. It's Vixie who gets up on the middle point first, wrapping around his Puma's little sister. Behind them, or in front of them, rather, is Iron and Blue and Dusk, as they will meet in the back mid area.
Now, fortunately, Red Team should have, and actually Iron and Blue does not catch on to these guys here. I was going to say Iron and Blue could have had the potential to go for a bit of opening spike burst over here onto these guys, but thankfully, for the Red Team at least, did not catch on to that. So with him diving on the mid, it does allow Polonium here to get onto the point pretty much unscathed and allow him to kind of unleash his fury with Condis.
Absolutely. Now, we are seeing a lot of Condy spray, actually, from both sides here, and it's Large Norn Ellie who actually took a lot of it. He's now kind of taken off those as he's disengaging and going towards mine right now. We are also seeing Shadow Shooter playing the back points very effectively. Kind of reminds me of, I think it was either Genyan or someone did this a lot, where they were only back capping 100% of the time.
Yeah, we do see some comps where that ends up happening. Again, players just have one player that's, alright, you're the back point and you literally don't do anything else. You don't come to mid. It's a very odd comp. It does, obviously, again, it severely limits your ability to team fight, but it's worked in a few choice occasions. Overall, though, I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm watching Slide getting plague res by Polonium. Polonium pops right back out of it now. It's going to be, the fight for middle has continued, and I don't think that, Carry Squad really cares about capping this up. All they really care about is getting kills and making sure that their back point is somewhere.
Right now, they actually have a very good opportunity to get kills, is why they're doing what they're doing here right now. You had Iron and Blue and Dusk, two of the squishiest characters on the blue team here that rely very heavily on keeping, on staying close to their own teammates so that they can keep themselves up and rolling here. With them overextending over onto red team's side of the point, it was a prime opportunity to just knock them out of place. That's kind of why we saw them pull back for a second and go for the kills there. And as you can see, it's worked brilliantly because not only now are they going to get those kills, but they've gotten full control of mid as a result of that as well.
It looks like All Your Base is not doing as well as they hoped to off the immediate split. Red team is just stuck to the hench point here. We're seeing Shadow Shooter. And who is he joined by? Looks like we're going to see Vixie over here as well. Really doing a lot of damage. Vixie disengaging right now, evading out of there, trying to just reset herself where he gets back in that fight. Looks like she may actually just opt to push away. There's an SR for additional stealth. So I guess she thinks that there's someone chasing her, but in reality, Blue is really trying hard to get their home point back.
Now again, this overcommitment is going to be bad in the long run of things. It's obviously, again, made Red Team pretty knowledgeable of where their locations is. They're going to be pretty much ready to go for the next engagement on mid. You can already see here that Puma's kind of hanging back on mid a little bit. Not really just waiting. He's kind of just hanging back a little bit, lets them get onto the point a little bit more before they can start doing DPS to him, and just in general allows him to get preemptively ready for the next team fight. Now, Vixie did make a little bit of a mistake there, kind of went in. Iron Blue got the sight on him and got the burst off, so that'll pull him back. But overall here, keep in mind again, Puma's little sister is probably, because of the fact that they don't have a Guardian, the tankiest player on this team, so it's kind of his job here to bulk this damage. At the same time, he's going to act as a distraction with Glowstone Blue Team focusing him, and he can just kind of dish out all the CC that a Hambo will bring to a fight, so that when the rest of Red Team's coming in here, as they are right now, they can kind of swing things right back around and surprise them with their own damage. So once again here, keeping going with this team fight. We did actually see that pressure coming off onto Dust specifically, once more knocking out one of the squishier players here. Sly going in at the moment, trying to get enough corpse lead, but unfortunately as he is in stealth, having a little bit of trouble getting the execution off onto him, and this will actually allow Cute to get him back up into play. Still going to try to turn things around, but really Red Team just on a complete rampage in this team fight here. Iron goes down, but once again, thankfully they're able to get him back up, and Blue Team now going to rally themselves back over here and try to go for another team fight. Overall though, Red Team has a lot of their guys here, and they're going to be able to just pressure this on them once more. But at the same time, Red Team has been engaged for quite some time in this team fight, so we're going to start to see their guys go into the downstate here over the next few seconds as well. Sly specifically went down, but as that was only their first downing, they were able to get him up with little to no trouble.
Alright guys, I am back. Apologies for that. Looks like Shadow Shooter is being dazed over here, trying to get a stomp over onto Cute and Fabulous. Cute and Fabulous is not going to take that. Actually, no, he will take it directly to the face right there. And that was Polonium 210. He was able to get that stomp off, so that's another 5 points for the Red Team as they continue here. Mine, however, is being decapped right now by Large, Norn, Ellie, and Blue Team is entirely routed. Forced to go all the way back to their home point. We're seeing Vixie in hot pursuit right now, really overextending a little bit, but able to sort of disengage now, pushing a Blue Team all the way back. Look at the LOS there, trying to stay in the SR, but no!
A Lucifer Wave knocks him out of the way there once more, so he's going to get scattered for a few moments, but he'll fall back. Has gotten enough range there, and then he'll just re-engage wherever he is needed. So, I mean, really at the moment here, what we're seeing, to step back for a second, Blue Team is very much scattered. They have managed to get a lucky break back over here at the mine, but there's no doubt in my mind that over the next few seconds, it's going to be going back into control of Carry Squad. They really need to step back here for a second, reevaluate themselves, group up once more, and just kind of, again, just look for another place to engage. Because right now they're kind of just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks, and unfortunately it's not going so well.
That's right, and I mean, just look at how many the engagements over here on the point. There's only one guy actually near the point. Everyone else is fighting and actually dying on the path to the mine here. It's Large Sarnelli about to get stomped out, and there it is. His teammates are very low in health. Is covered in condies as well. We're going to see Iron and Blue getting taken out now, trying to escape over towards that river. But Dixie's going to stealth stomp him as well. I think this is going to be sort of the second that Blue Team wipes here, which is, I guess, now.
And we're slowly approaching that territory where, again, Red Team just knows where Blue Team is at all times and starts to control them. They've even got, look at this, no one on the Red Team is actually engaged at combat at the moment here. The only thing that's going on is them killing the Lord, or not the Lord, the Spawner boss over here. And again, because they just completely wiped the Blue Team, they should have no trouble doing that whatsoever. What Blue Team is doing right now, I don't know if I wholeheartedly agree with it. They are going for a very split sort of push. That's not what they need to do right now. They are a very team fight focused composition here. They have a lot of squishy guys that can get gimped if they're left out alone on the field. They need to group up as a single unit and force a large team fight. Red Team is just a bulky mass. If they can fight a longer team fight and end up coming out on top through the end of that, which they should be able to do based on the amount of support that AYB has here, then they can definitely loop things back around here. But going for split pushes, trying to go for a bunch of smaller node fights where the Red Team players are going to get the advantage is not going to lead to anything good here for all your base.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, look at this right now. Look at everything that's going on for the Blue Team. They are kind of able to start taking a little gentle lead in the middle fight, but it's really just not enough. They're down 160 points. They allowed Red Team to get that Spawner kill, and I don't think Demonoid rather has enough to take out Shadow Shooter over here on mine. I don't think it's going to happen.
Mid, however, surprisingly does end up going into the favor of AYB, though. They do a very nice job of that, holding on over here, so they're going to get control of that. Good focus coming out there, too. Not sure what ended up happening, but they managed to pull that out at the end of things. Like we said, like we ended up seeing there, they did a very nice job of that. So meanwhile, back over here at the mine, we can see that they're still trying to hold off contention here, too, but Red Team with their respawns, unfortunately, is going to have a pretty big wave effect here now, so Demonoid as well as Large Nornelli need to get out of here because the wave is coming, and unfortunately, it's just going to swallow them whole, and there's just nothing they can do about that right now.
Fire rises, Mr. Blue. The fire rises as Red Team has now hit the 400-point mark with a 2-cap lead in favor. Oh no! Check out what Vixie's doing. He's gonna try and get a back cap. They
should spot him though. That's the thing. They still, yeah, the thief managed to spot him. So again, that was a bit of a risky move by Vixie. Vixie will end up going up against Iron and Blue here. Does score the decap. Iron and Blue, however, does have the advantage. It depends pretty heavily on who dodges what here. But in the long game over here, Iron and Blue has a lot more damage and is a lot more of a dangerous target. So he should be able to win that 1v1. Vixie does not even actually want to take the 1v1, so he's gonna bail out of there.
Absolutely. Vixie able to disengage just fine. We'll be Iron and Blue getting the recap up there. Now the middle fight is going to actually get on point. Large Sword Ellie taking lots of damage. Gets dropped. The rest of the team is going to jump on him. There's a shield absorption from the Resolute Healer, but it's not going to be enough to keep Red away from him. The cleave is real. Large Sword Ellie gets taken out. Cute and Fabulous is next. Goes down. And here comes a stomp from Puma's little sister. Stabilizes through it, and there it goes. So the red team will be able to start decapping right now. And Dusk is really pushed back here because he's got nothing to do. He's got no support here.
Yeah, Dusk is going to try to make his way through the beach again. That's really his only option at the moment. We saw, like we were talking about earlier there, red team just had superior pressure there in smaller node fight engagements. Blue team did not have the full burst and did not really have the full team ready to go there over towards mid, and that's why we saw red team once more just kind of crumple through that and take control of middle. Now, they do have, I think, this one last chance over here at the mine, but even if they take this, they're slowly starting to get control of it. Even if they take this, we're at a point now where I believe we could just see Carry Squad turtle and win the game. So
yeah, I mean, this is probably what's going to happen. Carry Squad definitely has this game no problem. It's only 30 points away from the 500 point mark, as is evident by the scoreboard. I see Shooter and Shadow Shooter actually being taken out by a stomp by Iron and Blue, but it's not going to be enough. Actually, as I say this, we may see Polonium and Puma take a 2v2 on the middle here. So as long as they stay on this point, they're going to be just fine.
Yep.
But Cute and Fabulous actually able to shadow, to shield of absorption them away and off points. But it will be GG in just a few seconds, as long as they stay around here. But Iron and Blue coming in trying to get as support. We're seeing the Mesvers of Dust trying to figure out exactly where he wants to go towards the ending of this game. Shadow Shooter off spawn goes towards Henge. So I like the split. They're going to send their tankiest members towards the mid and try and just keep it as long as possible. We're going to see Vixie trying to be utility around the area, just do some damage, and Shadow Shooter doing exactly what he's been doing all game and getting that back out.
Alright guys, and once again in about 5 seconds here, Carry Squad will be taking victory, so congratulations to them. Obviously they will now be up 1-0 in this set, and if they are able to take the next game, that means they will be moving on to the qualifying rounds of ToL2 here. But obviously All Your Base has at least one more attempt to bring things back under their control, and that attempt will be had over on Legacy of the Qualifier.
On Qualifier, do you like All Your Base's chances?
I do actually.
I agree. They have that Guardian. They have the ability to stay in mid, and if they can take it, they can start, grabbing a sort of a comeback in the series. I would say. I like what we saw from Red though as well. I think that they can definitely play to their strengths to take an advantage if they play the same way.
The thing with these comps, just to talk about them in general here, is with what Red has at the moment. Red can be a lot more solo focused. Red can have a lot more kind of lone wolf players, and they can go for smaller node fights and just like, oh, I'm just gonna go over here and take this node. They can do that. They can afford to do that. Blue team, everything has to be much more calculated. Everything has to be much more precise due to the fact that a lot of their players are a lot squishier. They're going to be a lot more vulnerable in those node fights, and they rely on each other a lot more to stay alive compared to Red team, who is a lot more focused on keeping they're a lot more focused on solo-wise trying to keep each other up and alive. So with that said, Red team is going to have a little bit more freedom on this map to rotate around, but at the same time, Blue team having that better team fight synergy, having that better ability to team fight in general, should be a pretty big boon to them over here at the mid. What they are obviously going to have to watch out for again is because of the fact that Red team does have that freedom, they're going to have to keep a much closer eye on things like their home point, like the far nodes, and unfortunately, if they're not keeping too good of an eye on that, then Red team's just going to out-rotate them and win the game like that. It's just, the usual story as we see things when these two kinds of comps take each other on.
I agree. I think that's something that we're going to really monitor throughout this game is Red's aggression. Again, as you said, solo ability with them is key. But I also like that just the mobility that we saw from Shadow Shooter. It's not that he has any particular mobility skills, just he's not in the team fights for majority of them.
Well, he's a 1v1 player. I mean, Again, we take a look at his build here very quickly. It's you can easily tell it's geared towards 1v1s. He's got the spirits for self-survivability and just general annoyance there, and it gets some Condi Spike and support for himself. But then the interesting thing is where the Sikkim comes in, is he allows him to get a little bit of extra actual like just damage spike coming out there because he's running with the pets, because he's running with more damage-focused pets here too, the cats that he has at the moment.
That's right. Players are asking if they want to go, and so we are going to get them ready and jump right into this game.
And Once again, guys, we are on Legacy of the Qualifier, so for anyone who does not know what this map is, as with all Guild Wars 2 maps, it's a 3-point capture map. The Lords are the secondary objective on this map, though, so once again, you manage to kill that. You do have to go through quite a bit of havoc in order to actually kill that, but once again, if you manage to make it through the gates, the AI, and kill the Lord itself, it'll net you 150 out of the total 500 points needed to win, and if you're already past 350 points, it's GG upon killing that Lord. But anyway, the game has now begun, so let us open up our map and check out the splits.
Looking at the split immediately, we're seeing Vixie going off to this really aggressive play here, trying to... Oh, he pops the SR. He really just wants to prevent people from going towards the mid.
SR kind of got wasted there, unfortunately. He should have been able to just turn around and head back to mid, so that's actually going to be a pretty big deal, because if any of his teammates go down in mid now, that's going to hurt. So once again, AYB gets a pretty big up because of that.
Yeah, he was able to get his Bassi off on Lost in Blue, but it's kind of just... doesn't quite matter that much. Oh no, Bassi in return from Vixie. This will come back to haunt him in a little bit. But both side points have been captured roughly around the same time, only a 1 point difference. Now, but Iron and Blue already down thanks to Vixie and Shadow Shooter. Two team members will try and get him back up, and the cleave is not strong enough to keep him down, so Iron and Blue will get back right up.
They gotta watch out for Polonium here to talk a bit about what's going on. They're taking so much corpse cleave at the moment. You can see, look, Large Nornelli's also gone down. They just let Polonium absolutely destroy them with Condi cleave, and they're all going down so hard because of that. Large Nornelli, to be completely honest, is gonna be out of play. Cute and Fabulous has more Condi pressure on him now. He's got nothing left to cleanse that with. Just a little bit of extra spike coming in from the red team is gonna finish him off because he's got nothing left. Demonoid, too, probably is not looking so hot, and a lot of that just completely fell apart here for AYB.
Absolutely. So, like, I think AYB has been entirely routed now that they've taken this really massive loss in the initial mid fight here. And now they have to figure out where they're going to apply pressure off the respawn. Dusk and Cute and Fabulous are just now coming off the respawn. Demonoid is already down again. Polonium able to drop him down there. And he's going to actually Plague Stomp him, so it's pretty much guaranteed. Large Darnelli trying to come in for the res, unable to do so. Iron and Blue staying back by Waterfall, stealthed up. I just think that all your base has no idea what to do.
Right now, they don't really have anything they can do. They got wiped at a team fight with less than 2 minutes into a Legacy game, which again, for their comp, which is so heavily focused on team fights and in larger skirmishes, in my opinion, is terrible for them. It was a huge loss, and all of that could have changed if they had focused down that Necro there. They're going to have to change that going into the next fight, or once again, we're just going to see the same result happen again. The second we ended up seeing Iron and Blue, this is something that needs to change here too. A lot of your team's success, if you run a Thief on your team, is dependent on how well that Thief is doing. With what Iron and Blue has happening to him right now, he's getting locked down the second he goes into combat. He has to stop that somehow, and if he does not do that, he's going to be a huge hindrance to his team, as he's essentially really just feeding his opponents here.
Absolutely. I mean, if this were a MOBA, they would be getting a lot of gold and a lot of experience. The thing, I mean, to talk a little bit more like strategically about it is, again, he's so much of the overall damage here for AYB. He's so much of that team fight, and his mobility is so invaluable to try and go for back caps and things like that. That every second he's not on the field and active doing something is a second his team is at a disadvantage. It's such a crucial part of the team fight. Thieves can make or break your entire team. And we're seeing it here, man. I'm watching Iron and Blue now.
Right now, Blue is trying really hard to re-engage here on mid. A Thief could possibly re-engage for them. A Thief could cause the chaos, go over here possibly onto Vixie or something like that. Could go over there, make him panic, and make the rest of the red team panic and fall back here. And that would give Blue team the hole needed to kind of re-engage here. But right now, as it stands, they're struggling to even get into the mid fight because they don't really have an opener to go in on.
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of... They do have this opener, though. They have Iron and Blue, but it looks like he's kind of just afraid to fully commit to an engagement here. Like, he almost did on Polonium, and actually could have taken him down, but Polonium was able to get away very easily. Now he's got the Death Shroud on. Cute and Fabulous trying to drop him down, but once he's out of Death Shroud, it's the perfect opening for Iron and Blue, or someone to step in and just take him down. He does use that heal there, but he's wide open now.
The other interesting thing that we see happening here on all your bases is the fact that they're using their Ellie as their main decapper, which on this map is a very odd thing. This map is extremely hard to get decaps without being noticed there. And again, with the Thief in play, they could do that so much more easier if they decided to use him to do it. So the interesting choice to have an Ellie, the Ellie could be a very, very good support to have in the team fight there too, is a very odd choice to that. Granted, again, he's looping back and forth, so he's still involved in the mid fight, but at the same time, there is a lot of time where he's actually out of the mid fight and not supporting, where he could be in there providing a lot of support as DD Ellies can.
So right now, Blue, Quarry has been decapped, and Red's attention seems to be entirely on the middle point. Polonium finally does go down, but most of these guys have been alive for a very long time. Do you think that off the respawn, obviously, someone will probably go?
A lot of them just. Well, I mean, a lot of them just got knocked out there, so a lot of them are like hindrance right now. There was. I don't know what. It definitely, to tell you the truth, it definitely should have been a recap by now. And this is actually a really good turnaround by the blue team as well. They did a really good job of actually re-engaging here on the mid. Had a little bit of trouble, but they managed to catch some weak spots over here and managed to snipe them out. So they'll be getting control of mid in just a second. But yeah, red team's really delayed for some reason with this recap, and that's actually allowed blue team to come back here a little bit.
Yeah, they've actually allowed blue team to entirely decap the middle point here, which is not exactly the greatest thing in the world for them. Shadow actually goes down large Norn Ellie off to the side. Look at where he got killed. That's very few fights end up there, I guess.
Yeah.
But Vixie trying to get an angle, trying to correctly engage this. I think that we need to see sort of a reassessment from the red team of where exactly they're going to push in on.
They're probably gonna push mid again. Like I said, these guys, like I said, they can afford to be a little bit more reckless. Their comp is a little bit more solo focused, so they can kind of just dive in on mid without having to worry about it because they have a lot of bulkier players. They've got the double warrior, that ranger can take quite a beating, and Vixie can kind of just go wherever the heck he pleases and do damage there. But right now blue team has a really large advantage just because of the fact that, again, they've got the defensive strike now. They know when their opponents are coming in, and they can choose the targets when they engage. Well, in contrast to before, where again they had to awkwardly deal with kind of shuffling into this middle point here. Now they have the upper hand.
Right now, I'm seeing the scores actually kind of almost even out. Look at this, Blues. 284, 229, 231 now. Every second it takes away, blue is getting stronger and stronger, and it looks like we may see a hashtag comeback.
We might see it indeed here. Red team does have to piece themselves together. They're going to have to try and score a decap here or something, because again, they unfortunately, with blue team being strong enough, they're not going to be able to team fight against them. However, they have managed to pierce through the veil here. Demonoid has now gone into the downstate and getting completely knocked out of play. So with that said, they will gain a small advantage. Whoa, hold on.
Yeah,
that's my phone.
That's your phone there, buddy. But I'm watching Cute and Fabulous right now, the Guardian from AYB. Force off point. They have lost the cap there. And we are seeing, actually, he's going to try and get the stomp. Will get the stomp on Sly. They will push the spike continuously in the middle, at least get the decap there. And also, Quarry has gotten decap. Now, Cute and Fabulous has actually stayed alive for such a long time. His heal is about to go off. He's, interestingly enough, he's running Sword Shield on this, so just able to use that flashing blade to get the teleport off, and then, of course, the staff isn't there for the team fight utility, so he's really focused on getting into those team fights, getting out as much of that AoE heal with the symbols, and then getting to where he needs to be with those shots as well.
Indeed.
Worth noting, though, 2 members down for AYB, and we're seeing a push onto that waterfall point. A decap will go through.
Again, Vixie and Polonium got a nice side note engagement off onto both Dusk and Iron and Blue, locking them down very, very nicely indeed, and they're now just going to take even more advantage of that. Back over here, the range that they're going to have versus Demonoid will allow them to kill him with ease, take him out, and now Red Team will actually take control of the waterfall, in addition to having a very large advantage on the mid-fight here, too. Now, this is now Red Team swinging things back around to their court once more, just due to the fact that Blue Team making those very small mistakes, which leads to very large consequences due to the comp that they've chosen here.
It looks like we're going to see Red Team really stepping back out here. Carry Squad are carrying themselves to victory right now. Cute and Fabulous, though. SR'd by his teammate, and Dust is going to try and res him up here. Stealth, is it? Nope, Stealth is not. It's not a thing anymore. So we're going to see Cute and Fabulous does get the symbol off. Will Stomp go through? 6 out here will get. Okay, yeah. I don't think the Cute and Fabulous is going to get up at all, and there's Stomp. So Red Team has a very commanding lead here. If we jump over to Quarry, we're going to see Sly versus Arsenal and Ellie. And over on Waterfall, we're going to see Polonium versus Demonoid. And actually, here comes Iron and Blue to try and make this a 2v1.
Yep, and an Iron and Blue here. Polonium will be under quite a bit of pressure. Unfortunately here, Polonium does not have a lot to deal with the pressure coming in from Iron and Blue and Demonoid. Got to be relying pretty much completely on Deshroud. Now that that's gone, he's just going to melt. Goes down, and now that'll flip back under blue team control with ease there. But Vixie will try to come in, try to save the day. Demonoid catches on to this, however. SR thrown down by Vixie as well, but at the same time, Iron and Blue and Demonoid both have a lot of corpse sleeve to offer, and Vixie just eats that, so he's going to go down here too now. And with that, blue team will turn a bad situation into a very good one by taking control of the waterfall.
But at the same time, look at the point spread, Blue. It's 407 to 304. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to catch up. They had that lead slowly decreasing, but that one wipe when Red Team just Carry Squad just stepped out and said, "Now we're taking all of this middle point back for ourselves." That was really them striking one of the final nails in the coffin of all your base.
So they do still have an opportunity over here, because we take a look at what's happening at the quarry. Waterfall's pretty secure. They've got Puma's little sister sitting over there, and Puma's the tankiest player. If they can take control of the quarry, or at the very least force the red team off of the quarry node, they're going to approach the 350 point mark here very soon. And because of their close proximity to red team's base, they should easily be able to pierce through the gate there and make a lord push. There's still a small opportunity for all your base to take a victory through that, but if they don't take an advantage of that, or if they lose this team fight here at quarry, unfortunately, it's going to be all over in favor of Carry Squad.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I did watch just now, though, Iron and Blue juke Vixie pretty hard. And I don't know why the Warrior is and Demonoid is not trying to just walk through the other door. He was trying to take down the northern gate of this base, but Iron and Blue taking out the first of the Warriors, or soldiers rather, inside the red base.
Going for that now. It's going to be a very long process, and Vixie catches on to that, so he'll jump on and stop that right in its tracks. Iron and Blue actually may end up going down, tries to kill the soldier. He probably should have waited to put the kill on the soldier there, to be honest, because Vixie might get a snipe up onto him. Pops his heal, but ooh, just will be safe here. These rely pretty heavily on stealth, but now he's going to be forced out of the base once more. And now
all points are decapped, Blue.
All points are decapped. Actually, no, they're not. I believe they have control of mid. We're still seeing red ticks. So control of waterfall, actually, yeah. Puma's little sister has full control of the waterfall at the moment, so Carry Squad's still taking up points that way.
That bugged scoreboard always catching us off guard, but yeah, Demonoid trying to get some decap going on to Puma's little sister. Not quite able to do that. We are seeing the Iron and Blue did get wrecked in that base. The Sly taking out Cute and Fabulous. Cute and Fabulous, the Guardian over here, will probably go down very soon. Able to get off some sort of heal there. In about 50 seconds till Shelter comes back. Pulvivine will be up in just a second. Now he's got 2 of his shots to sort of keep him alive here. But he's going to need some help, and here comes Large Sword and Ellie and Dusk to help him out.
And then meanwhile, once again, as you can see here, we still do have that waterfall point fully controlled by the red team here. It is going to get decapped in a second, but with middle also falling into full control of Shadow Shooter and Polonium for Carry Squad, they're going to have no issue taking the rest of this game. Unfortunately, blue team just did not have the adequate pressure to win the fight over there to Quarry and push that into Lord, so red team being able to turtle through that there is going to be taking game 2, which means they're going to score a 2-0 victory, and they will now move on to the qualifying rounds to take on Outplayed by Children.
That's going to be a very interesting match to see. Outplayed by Children versus Carry Squad. Who's next, though? Is it Apex Prime versus Sharks?
Apex versus Sharks will be our next match on stream.
Yes! I'm hella excited to quote my good friend Sean Buell. Oh, man, I haven't seen Apex play in such a long time. I really want to see what they pull out here, the new comps, do whatever. I'm excited. I hope y'all are excited as well. We're probably going to be doing some sort of giveaways when we come back, aren't we?
We're going to take a short, about a 3 to 4 minute break here, guys, and we will be giving away another llama in the chat while we are away. Please ensure you are following the channel to make sure that you can win that llama. We'll be giving details on how to win the giveaway in the Twitch chat, so make sure you are paying attention. But other than that, we'll be returning in about 5 minutes with, once again, Apex versus Sharks with Lasers, coming up in just a few minutes, guys.